up. Where does it begin? Brock Purdy will miss the game, his first due to injury in his career. Brandon Allen instead gets the start for the 49ers. He's in his 8th season, was originally a 6th-round pick in 2016. He has started 9 games in the NFL, all with the Broncos and Bengals between 2019 and 21. It's a huge game for San Francisco's playoff chances. They enter Green Bay 10th in the playoff picture. They're just 1 game back of the Cardinals in the division, but the defending NFC champs are running out of time. But we have plenty of time for Dan Graziano in Green Bay, and we will need it if he's going to run through all of the injuries that the 49ers come into this game with. They are banged up beyond belief. Dan, let's start looking through some of those.
Yeah, Greeny, running out of time and running out of players. You mentioned that Brock Purdy will not play, the quarterback. Nick Bosa, their star edge rusher, he's not going to play. Remember, Seattle scored all 20 of its points last week with Bosa off the field, so it tells you the kind of difference he makes. Trent Williams, veteran left tackle, did not practice all week with an ankle injury. He is at least here in Green Bay and will work out on the field before the game. They are optimistic about his chances to play, but still uncertain because, again, wasn't able to practice last week. So extremely banged up 49ers team that needs to find wins. They have blown fourth quarter leads against each of their 3 division opponents already this year and given away their margin for error. When I talked to their fullback this week, Kyle Juszczyk, he said, we've got to focus on finishing these games. We've got to approach this as it's every game the rest of the way is going to be decided in the fourth quarter and find ways to take charge of those situations and make them work for us instead of letting things happen to us. Obviously, a lot happening to them in terms of the injury report. Niners hoping they can overcome that here today in Green Bay.
All right, Dan, thank you. 3 losses in the final 2 minutes of games in which they held the lead. That's the most in the NFL. All of those came in the division. This one, of course, is a matchup between 2 teams with a rich history, and they met in the playoffs last year. But you hear all these injuries. Teddy, how does San Francisco win in what feels like a must-win despite missing all these players?
I'd love to give you reasons what the San Francisco 49ers need to do, but it's in terms of what the Packers will do. And I mean, it's going to be, does Jordan Love give it to him? That's the whole thing. That's how they're going to have a chance in terms of, we've talked about Jordan Love and his decision making, but this Niner team is just different now. Graz talked about all those injuries, and in terms of finishing games, well, you can't finish games if you're not even in it. And that's what's in danger of happening in this game here. Jordan Love has made questionable decisions. Moss has already talked about that in the opening kicks, but it's just that, can the Niners stay close in the fourth quarter with an opportunity to finish? Jordan Love will give them a chance. That's the only way they can do it.
To me, this is all about the Niners defense. I think they're going to have to do something out of character. Here, you heard Graz mention all 20 points last week came with Bosa off the field. This defense is predicated on the rush getting home, and if he's not there, they don't. They're going to have to do some things, be more aggressive, pressure Jordan Love to try to create some of those turnovers, Teddy. I think offensively, though, Brandon Allen, I mean, listen, they like him. He's been there 2 years. They have liked him since they got him when Cincinnati released him. And this is the number 2 offense in the NFL from a yard standpoint. There's enough weapons. He just needs to go in and execute this offense, and I think he can do that.
I think Graz talking about Trenton Williams coming on the road in that ankle. I think that is huge. Whether he plays or not, I think it'd be huge. The reason why you're on the road, tough environment. Everybody knows how hard it is to play in Lambeau. I don't care, playoffs, regular season. But let me get back to the offense for a minute. Everybody knows about CMC when he came back. But there's a guy that's leading their team in touchdowns, and I'm talking about George Kittle, the tight end, that has missed some games but still been able to get in the end zone. So as long as he has those playmakers, and then third and Juwan. All right, Juwan Jennings. Yeah. Get him more involved in it. Why does it have to be third and long? That's why they call it third and Juwan. Anything third and long, 3rd and 10 and plus, find Juwan Jennings he can get. I just want to see if they can utilize him a little bit more early and often.
Yeah, I remember like last night when we were talking, you told me that George Kittle was 3rd in the NFL in receiving.
Behind 2 wide receivers.
And I'm like, he missed 2 games and is still that high. I was blown away when you told me that stat. And but that offense, I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. And you're saying, because a game manager, whatever, he can get it done and things. But that defense, they are going to have to pressure because they don't have anything. And all you're going to do is play 3 weaker quarters against Jordan Love. Jordan Love, when you give him time to throw, that's when he's not reckless. And so how are you going to alter that? That's going to be fascinating.
Can they just all of a sudden start to become a pressure team?
No, they can't.
It's not what they are.
No, but you can't just keep doing the same thing you're doing, blowing leads. in the fourth quarter, and they don't have that pass rush to close out games.
Is it just me, or does everyone love their backup quarterback until he plays?
That is true. I'm telling you,
they love the guy.
Listen, they do, but if there's a system for a backup to go in and play well, it's this system, right?
Okay.
It's built on the run game, right? The play action pass off of it. You just distribute the football. I do think they have a chance.
I just think that the Niners are limping to the finish. It just seems like with all of these injuries, they're 5-5. I know they're still in the division, but they really remind me of they're the Cincinnati Bengals of the NFC. It's like you have a lot of long foul balls, you know what I mean? Championship game losses, Super Bowl losses, division, whenever you lose in the playoffs. I mean, there's been any type of validation for this team in terms of a championship to let them know that everything we're doing is right. So now you get, okay, they're trying to do the right thing all this year in battle. No McCaffrey, but still, here it comes now. You're 5-5, and it's like, what's the motivation, that they have in terms of like, man, let's just do this because we know it works. They really don't. And it's so hard to continue this. And now you have all these injuries. Kyle Shanahan's got to make sure he's got this team right in the head, because it's easy for them to just take it.
Brew, this is the thing, because I know you got the 3 Super Bowl rings, but I'm like, come on, it's not a total loss of a season when you make it past an NFC championship game, Brew. But, it's funny. This game specifically reminds me of Marv Levy. He told me a thing. He goes, Rex, depth is a great thing until you have to use them. I'm like, oh. All of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, there's a reason these guys are behind the starters, and this thing it's a scary situation. But I'm not betting against, totally saying, oh, the Packers are going to blow them out.
You're talking about a scary situation. Get back on Jordan Love just for a minute. I talked about the opening kicks, like you said, Brew. That turnover in the red zone, and I said, when will Jordan Love throw the interception? I think today, in a crucial situation, somewhere down in that red zone, it's going to be a tight game, closer game than people think, with the backup Brandon Allen in. But when is he going to throw it? I'm just looking somewhere in that red zone, because it was crucial last week, and it'll probably be crucial again this week.
When defenses are in meeting rooms with quarterbacks like this, what they say is, he's going to give you your chances. All you got to do is catch it.
Right.
And that's what Jordan Love is becoming with his decision making.
Packers are a 6-point favorite, which is the end of a very long, impressive streak. The 49ers had been favored in 36 consecutive regular season games, which is an historically long 30 good games today. The squad is ready to go today. Rex and Randy and Alex and Teddy ready for some action today. We got some good games, and we got some big stories that we are following, and the man who follows those, as always, is Adam Schefter. Shefty, good morning.
Gentlemen, happy week 12 and happy pre-Thanksgiving to you. The 49ers thought that Brock Purdy would be able to start today against the Packers. He can't. They think he'll be okay for next Sunday night's game at Buffalo. We'll see about that. But without Brock Purdy, Brandon Allen will start against Matt LaFleur's Packers team. These two individuals were in L.A. with the Rams together a few years back. Now Brandon Allen will be starting in place of Brock Purdy today in the latest injury setback to a 49ers season filled with them, including Nick Bosa, who was left behind, didn't even make the trip to Green Bay, stayed back in San Francisco. He will be out today due to a hip and oblique injury, and the defensive line that the 49ers will line up today against the Packers is entirely different than the starting defensive line they fielded against the Packers in the NFC divisional playoff game. And the Giants have made a quarterback change. They officially waived Daniel Jones yesterday. He will go through waivers. He is expected to clear waivers on Monday and then find a new home. The two teams at the top of the list right now, I believe, are the Baltimore Ravens and Minnesota Vikings. There are others interested. And without Jones there, Tommy DeVito will step back into the starting lineup and try to light a spark under the Giants offense the way he did last year when he led them to 3 straight wins, Greeny.
It's Adam Schefter, who, as we know, always gets the job done. We'll have a lot more on the Tommy DeVito story. Why is that funny? Anyway, we'll have much more on the Tommy DeVito story as we continue through the morning. But speaking of spreading the love around, we touched on it. Randy, opening kicks, Niners, Packers, Jordan Love. What do we say?
Well, let's go to Lambeau Field, LOVE. Shefty talking about Nick Bosa's out of the game. Well, I don't know where the pressure's going to come from the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, every game this season that Jordan Love has played, he has thrown an interception. So the question for me today, when will it happen? Last week he threw one Bad interception in the red zone against the Bears. So I just want to see if he's going to spread the love to Reed. I want to see you spread the love to Watson. And Mr. Romeo Dobbs is going down to Lambeau. Man, love. Spread it the right way, baby.
Well, you know who's not spreading the love? The Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Why? They keep it on the ground, baby. Right now, and here it is. Oh, ground and pound means you're not very explosive. Really? In the 6-game win streak, all they are is 54 explosive plays on offense. Yeah, that would lead the league by far. So watch out. Explosive runs. This is the formula. You better strap it up, Rams, if you got any chance in this one.
All right, well, let's go Lions, Colts, and Anthony Richardson. You had a great week last week. Can you do it again? Because you are going to be needed, and it's going to take runs like this to control the clock. Keep the Lions off that offense off the field. Limit possessions any way you possibly can, Indianapolis, because the giant is coming to you here because the Detroit Lions can't be stopped. Their offense, they score any which way. They got 5 linemen that also have touchdowns, I think. I don't know, but everybody's scoring on this offense.
All right, well, let's go. Vikings heading down to Soldier Field. And Caleb Williams coming off of by far the best game of his career. New offensive coordinator Thomas Brown did such a great job of getting this kid to play decisive and get the ball out of his hands fast. And he's going to have to do that today because this Vikings defense is a problem. They bring more blitz than anybody in the NFL. They're the #1 defense against the run, and they're also allowing the lowest QBR in the NFL. This is a huge step up in competition for young Caleb Williams. He's going to have to use his legs today. Can't wait to see it in Chicago.